Hey everybody, it's Chris Kirkpatrick and Caleb Williams back here with you with Life 180 and Better Wealth, talking about peril number 6 of your 401k. Now, to continue from the last video, this video has to do with control, but most importantly, the fact that you are not in control of your 401k, the government is. Right?
It's a huge concept. People don't think about this. If you think about getting into business with someone, you want to get into business with someone that you trust.
Yep.
And in reality, every single person that has a 401k is in bed, is in business with someone that they really have no control over.
One of my favorite kind of jokes, statements of all time is we're the government and we're here to help. Like, it's the biggest lie ever, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so for me, I'm naturally a small government guy. I'm naturally somebody who wants their paws out of my life.
Yep.
And I want to be able to operate and try to build a prosperous business and life and legacy and all that stuff. And, you know, I think a lot of people watching this are probably attracted to the same concept.
Right.
And so the challenge is this. And let me preface this by saying a lot of people may listen to this and some of the challenges that concern me with this topic and think that the odds of that happening are very low.
Yeah.
And they may be right.
Yep.
Right? But here's what I would say. We talked about it the last video. Taxes are going up. Our unfunded liabilities are going up. The national debt is going up.
Yep. Procedures, policies, politics are all pointing in one direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they got to fund it somewhere, and they can only tax so much, right? And they got to find some money. They got to find the money somewhere.
Yep.
And I love the statement that you make is like the government's best way to invest in the markets, or the only way, is your 401k.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because the government...
I want that to sink in, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you think about a 401k, let's do a crash course on 401k. They give you a deduction today. Chris, you don't have to pay taxes today. You put your money into a 401k. It's usually invested in the market. It will grow, go ups and down. When you take it out, and by the way, there's a requirement of how you take that out, like who's in control of that? You or the government, okay? And then when you take that money out, they get their piece. It's not all your money, but they get to control the threshold. They get to control the rate. They get to control, the flow of money coming to them, and they get to turn the dials whenever they want.
They can change when the RMDs have to kick in. They can change everything.
And so, if you're thinking about this, why do you think the government gives you such an incentive early on? Why do you think they defer that money? It's an investment for them. And I'm sorry, I'm getting passionate about this. I think before the video, we're like, he's going to do 90% of talking, but literally, like, you get a portion. They defer their portion, and they make you take all the risk. You put up all the money, and then they get to receive some big time return without taking any risk. And it's almost brilliant on their point of view.
It's definitely brilliant.
It's the banks and Wall Street actually know, like, we should be learning how they do it and reverse engineer it in our own lives, and that's what we teach people. But it's, as I talk about this, I have actually a respect for them, because we have people that are so passionate about this is the only way to do it, and yet this is the only way that they can get a great rate of return for themselves and take no risk. I hope that made sense. It makes sense in my head.
It makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
The one thing that you said is you get a deduction this year, and I want to make it. I want to make it very clear that even though you think you're getting a deduction, you're not really getting a deduction, because a pure deduction is saying I owe $20,000 in taxes, and if I get to deduct that, then that $20,000 is gone.
Yes.
You get to, with a 401k, not deduct it, even though they call it a deduction. It's a total play on words that to me is manipulative. At best. And it's not a deduction, even though that's where they use. It's a deferral. You're not you get to deduct it this year, but you're really gonna have to pay it later when the taxes are higher, when you're in.
There should be a difference in the language we use between if you have a permanent deduction that usually it doesn't mean you're kicking the can down the road.
Like
this is like a postponement.
If you buy an electric car, you get a tax deduction. Right?
I know.
Like, or something. I know. Something of that nature. Like, there are all sorts of ways. You buy solar panels for your house, you get a deduction. Like, there are things that you get deductions for that are pure. 401k is not one of them, but it gets lumped into the same terminology, and I think people get hoodwinked because of that.
Right? And just to clarify, there's a difference between a deduction and a credit, and all of what we're trying to say is that the 401k, you pretty much defer, you postpone, and that savings on tax that you get this year could really, it's not in your control at all, and the government can actually take a whole lot more of that in the future.
Yep, for sure. So, bottom line for this one, and it's going to be short and sweet, is that yes, there are maybe extenuating circumstances that need to happen for things for the government to get in and to change policies and to maybe change the RMD age or to change the distribution requirements, change the taxation and all this stuff. But the reality is, when you have all your money and livelihood and future in one account, you basically are telling me that you're putting all your trust and faith in the government. And if you're telling me, I don't care how much you like the government, if you're telling me that that's you, I'm going to tell you you're a bit crazy. I just quite frankly, you have to be a little bit crazy right now when the state, no matter what side of the political spectrum you fall on, to say that you have enough faith that in 30 years, you have faith that the government is going to have all their financial house in order to the level where they're not going to have to attack your account.
Yep. When we talk about we talk about diversifying your money from the markets and bonds and all that stuff. Yeah. Why don't you diversify from the taxation and regulation? I'm serious.
Diversify from the system.
That's good. It's really good. That's actually a good book title, by the way. Diversify from this. Yeah, it's good.
I'm gonna go buy that. So anyway, that is it. Nice and short and sweet. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions about anything, click on the link below. You can go get a copy of Caleb's book. I mean, it's an amazing book. Make sure you click the bell, the subscription button. If you love this, we're releasing all sorts of great content. Caleb and I are trying to do more and more of this. We're dripping these videos out.
We've been blown away by the people that have reached out to us and said thank you and please do more. And so make sure to subscribe to this guy. Thank you for letting me be on your channel and jam with you.
I love it. So until next video, we will see you there.